Guys, Artosis here, and today I'm going to be casting a little show match game. This is from StarCastTV, so big thanks to Cruiser for setting that up. And we have in the bottom right of Ringing Bloom, none other than Mini, one of the most accomplished Protosses of the last few years, even though more recently he hasn't been doing quite as well. Still a very strong Protoss player. And his opponent in the top left, it is Rush. No, this is YamTube. It's Rush. This is one of the best Terrans right now. I think a lot of people put him about third place behind, of course, Flash and Light. He's really, really strong. Definitely someone that we are looking at as possibly the next Terran champion of a league. Like a non-Light, non-Flash champion. Rush is kind of the guy that we have our money on right now. So that being said, the map is Ringing Bloom, and this map is absolutely fantastic for fast expanding. As you see here, Overmind Cocoons, these are just here to help, first off, create a walled area that you can actually defend, but also for Zerg to be able to make some sunken colonies so that they don't have to like try to put a hatchery down here to defend. You also have some walling happening on the ramp. Of course, all this is killable, so you can open it up a little bit more later on. Now, it looks like for Rush, yeah, with the amount of SCVs he has queued up, he is going for a command center first. And over here on Mini's side, he has one pylon at the choke. Of course, a Nexus first going to be going down for him. That is the standard of this map, is definitely a Nexus first for Protoss. But you do have to watch out, right? Because, like, if you're going a command center first, for instance, and Mini had made a gateway in the center of the map, you lose. So there's always a little bit of a gamble to be had when you're doing a build like this. Luckily for both sides, it's going to pay off. We're not going to see any super quick rushes in this game or anything like that. Now, both of them will continue to make a wall here. You definitely want to wall to try to protect your base a little bit more, especially when you're going for such a quick expansion. Gateway down at the front. The barracks coming up. He can always put another depot here as well, which will make a zealot tight wall. And certainly we should be seeing his gas come up relatively soon here. So the second depot coming down. He wants to make sure that he's producing his SCVs non-stop, but also stopping any potential zealots or anything like that from getting in. Yeah, I kind of like how he's altered his build order a little bit here with that quicker second depot. Looks pretty safe overall. He's kind of hedging his bets. Over on Mini's side, of course, takes a little bit for these builds to get going. A single Zealot going to be popping out. This can chase the SCV around, I guess. Not too likely to send it across the map. It's not as if it's going to get anything done if he does. Yeah, just going to hit that SCV a little bit. But the SCV does wiggle its way in. Going to see the timing of the cybernetics core. Know, of course, that this is a Nexus first. Go down and double check it. Ooh, and Mini putting down a proxy pylon. What is this for exactly? You have to guess that it's going to be a robotics, because otherwise, why are you making it over here so close? Like, you could hide something like Templar tech, but it's kind of close to the Terran, so you'll eventually lose it. Maybe Templar tech would be better hidden here, for instance. And there it is, a proxy robo. So we're gonna see what he wants to do with the proxy robo. Like, is this going to be a hyper aggressive, non-stop, multiple shuttles, Reaver and Dragoon type of play? Or possibly, you know, just a little bit of Reaver harassment. I think either way, we're very likely to see Reavers here. And honestly, Mini's style overall involves a lot of shuttles. He was one of the first Protoss players that really started to evolve this new style that is all over the place right now, where it's a lot of shuttles. Although his style is less Psystorm based and more let's jump on top of your siege tank space. Now, I missed this while I was talking about that because I didn't assume anything like this would occur, but it looks like the barracks happened to be lifted off and a Zealot ran in, killed a Marine, and damaged another one. But he cleaned that up, not too much damage. It does delay the bunker, which you always like to have here, but it's really not that big a deal. Rush is going to be fine. Now, Rush is actually going up to double starport play. This is kind of huge. There is a Dragoon here harassing a little bit. I love that he left the Zealot in that position to catch the Marine as it popped out. This is the only position on the map where Marines pop out on the outside of your wall. So it's actually extra weak to a rush like this. So you can see where he stood this Dragoon is to make sure the Marine cannot get through. Still, it's okay to finish it up, though. Put some extra damage on that Dragoon. It'll help his wall to stay alive longer. And finally, a siege tank pops out. So he is going to hold that with not too much trouble, but a very nice dedicated rush. Now, we need to talk about this, the double starport Wraith. This is not something that Mini sees, but this is something that has developed on this map because shuttles are so normal to use. Reaver play is so popular here, and a lot of the Reaver users go directly into carriers after that. So the starports can actually shut that down. You try to fly in with a couple Zealots and a Reaver and a shuttle, and 2 starport Wraith will kill that so quickly that the Terran player is going to be at an advantage, even though they've gone for Wraiths, which are historically very, very weak against Protoss. Now, he's flying out here because this is a more likely place to proxy a Robo. So he's just kind of checking. Seeing, is there a shuttle here? Does he have some buildings on the edge? But no, it's coming from the other direction. So we're going to see this come up, and it looks like he wants to push the wall straight up. Siege mode is not done as of yet, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to hold if he does guard this Reaver with the Dragoons. Okay, SCV's coming down, but Mini can target those. Oh, a pretty dudded Scarab right there. We'll end up getting a couple of them, and it looks like he's going to break through, but Siege mode is going to be finishing. And there's like 3 Wraiths out right now, so I think he's going to be all right. Yeah, look at that. Going to pick off that shuttle very, very quickly. The Dragoons putting some damage on those Wraiths. Oh, and look at this. Mini just beautifully runs away from the other 2 tanks that are in siege mode. Of course, if you try to engage those, you're going to lose your entire army right away, dealing as much damage as he can. Look at this. As this tank comes back to push, he runs up and targets it, picks that off as well. Mini is making wine out of water right now. This seemed like it should have been a perfect defense for Rush. His build order was awesome. Everything was looking strong, but Mini from the get-go denying the bunker that was here that would have stopped that initial rush as well, picking off the additional Marines, breaking through, picking off the siege tank, running to the side. Everything he's done has been awesome, and he has really punished Rush. Look at this. They both went for Command Center first and Nexus first. 39 workers to 53. That's a gigantic difference for anyone wondering, right? If Rush had not taken all that damage, he'd have about 50 workers right now, which is almost enough for a 3-base economy. Instead, here he sits with 2 Port Wraith going on, 3 siege tanks, no other prospects lining up for him. He started +1, sure, but his production isn't going to kick in forever. Now, Mini, he's taken a 3rd base. And yeah, he is, in fact, teching up towards carriers. He's getting the +1 ship weapons right now. He's actually made a Corsair. Corsairs absolutely kill Wraiths. So, oh yeah, and he has a couple out here right now chasing those Wraiths down. Rush wants to scan and end up killing off the Observer, but isn't quite able to do it. Yeah, and he will pick off the Corsair, maybe sending those Corsairs in a little bit too early. Really, it's when both units are massed that the Corsairs murder Wraiths. If it's like 1 versus 1 or something, it's not a problem for the Wraiths. These smaller numbers, Rush being able to pick those off. Okay, now he is flying around with his Wraiths, and we'll see what else he can get done or how many more he makes. I think he's going to be done making Wraiths for a bit, though, honestly. Like, he needs the money to build factories. He is taking a 3rd command center, adding a couple facts as well. This is a good read of the situation. Mini has played so greedily that he's got 1 gateway. So it's not like he can stop the expansion, and in fact, maybe even this attack can do something. His entire army consists of whatever, yeah, whatever Corsairs he's made. So he's got like 3 more Corsairs now, a shuttle, and this small handful of Dragoons. So picks off this Robo. He is going to have to replace that because you need some observers to stop the Cloaked Wraiths from killing all your carriers. But yeah, this game is, I mean, such a weird opening, but this is the type of game you see on Ringing Bloom from time to time. All All right, the Dragoons coming out onto the map a bit. The Corsairs following. The Wraiths scouting around. He knows that Mini has to have another base. There's no way he would not. Oh no, and Rush's tanks getting caught. I mean, it's not like Mini had a big amount of Dragoons, but to get in here and reduce the tank count at all is amazing. You cannot be losing these tanks early on. But he actually gets some counter damage done in there and picks off all the Corsairs in that time. In fact, the Cloaked Wraiths, with no observer around, are easily going to pick off the rest of these Dragoons as well. But overall, from that engagement, I kind of liked it for Mini. Just being able to reduce that siege tank count. Like, look at the army of Rush. What's his army? It's 2 Vultures and some Wraiths. What does that beat? It doesn't beat anything. But honestly, it's not like Mini has much of anything. He's just now adding his gates. A few Dragoons walking across the map. And it looks like he's just going to pick off any stray units he can right now. I think that's a great play from Rush. Has he started his carrier production? No. He's actually just making Corsairs. And you know what? I think that's actually a great play. I wasn't really looking at the production tab during this, but I would love to just see Corsair Dragoon here. That would be completely awesome. Oh my god, here we go. Well, yeah, I mean, there's only 1 siege tank. He definitely can attack in here with low amounts of units, but enough Vultures do push him back, at least for the time being. He is going to have a lot of Corsairs, man, and that means that you have to go Goliaths to actually fight against him. And does Rush have the gas for that? Not really. He's put a lot of money into his Wraiths. He's kind of counting on them being useful to some degree against the carriers. Carriers are going to have those +2 attacks as well. Mini taking another command, or another Nexus rather. The Corsairs hunting down the floating science facility. You cannot be losing this building. You cannot be losing this building. That is so much damage already put onto it. Definitely has to go repair that. A few Vultures out on the map. And again, this is a game that you don't generally see, right? Like, we're actually seeing Vultures just like kind of attack by themselves and Corsairs killing floating buildings. Yeah, I don't know, man, but Ringing Bloom definitely can give you some odd games. No doubt about that. Now, the one thing I was mentioning before, I would like to see D-Web out of these guys. Disruption Web from the Corsairs. It's a spell that you almost never see, but it makes a little white cloud over units, and nothing underneath it can attack for ground units. So that could be useful if you're going lots of Dragoons against the siege tanks. I don't believe he's gotten it yet, because if he did, he'd be using it right now, but it's something you almost never see, but it actually would have a lot of utility here. It's an upgrade that you get on that Fleet Beacon. Now the siege tank's coming over. Looks like he's going to try to kill off a base, and he might get this, but I think he ends up losing his tank army again. This might just be the way of this game, though. Rush might just have to continually trade his army over and over and over and just win a scrappy game. Now, the counterattack from Mini that was coming up, it looks like he lays some mines pretty well overall, gets some decent hits there, and reduces the strength of this army. In the meantime, he has killed off this Nexus. It's a big deal. And has enough units at home that I think he'll hold on for now, at least. All right, starting to move in a bit. I mean, you have 3 siege tanks. This is definitely holdable here for Rush. And in fact, Rush coming back with the rest of his units, but he does not want to lose these 5 siege tanks. If he can get them home, it is huge. Get them home or kill this base. Those are the great moves. And in fact, he is going to come around this. I can't believe that he made a Reaver at this point as well. A Reaver added into this. Going to drop it in on these siege tanks. Oh, a beautiful hit there. He actually gets a lot of Vultures and puts quite a bit of damage on those siege tanks. I got to tell you, the fact that Rush is pulling together such an odd game right now really speaks volumes about his skill. They're actually equal in supply. There's more workers here for Rush. Just some amazing play. The Reaver, though, from Mini, really being worth its weight in gold, killing a couple tanks, putting so much damage on so many of them, even kills a final one there. The Wraiths coming up with their cloak and actually beating the Corsairs as they knock out all detection. Corsairs starting to go down. Siege tanks attacking into this mineral base. There's no Zealot legs done yet, so it's not like he can close on these siege tanks that quickly. The Wraiths pick off the shuttle as well. I cannot even believe what I'm seeing. Look at this Rush making so many things happen for himself this game. Carriers starting to pop out, but where are the observers? Yeah, I guess he does have a single observer here. Gets picked off once again. And now the carrier's starting to be killed. I tell you, this is a once-in-a-lifetime game that we've been watching here between Rush and Mini. And that carrier going to be picked off as well. The Wraiths really paying huge dividends here for Rush. It's moving forward, sieging up, laying mines for this Dragoon-only army. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to break through that right now. Some turrets going down as well. That means that Mini's economy has really shrunk at this point. He's got very few minerals left over here. Very few left here. It's really about up here, but he's only got a few probes. I think Rush is unaware of that base, so that definitely is going to help. But Rush has just shown a master's class on creativity and utilizing Wraiths to beat Protoss. Now, Mini microing as best he can. There are no tanks here, so the Dragoons can pair well. He's trying to drag a mine in. Okay, kind of drags those, but doesn't get the connections he was looking for. And that's it. He GG's victory here for Rush.